In a quiet valley surrounded by silver hills and glowing fireflies, there was a tiny village called Willowbrook. At the edge of the village stood a little cottage with a blue roof and a garden full of sleepy lavender flowers. In that cottage lived a curious little fox named Oliver. Oliver loved many things: warm soup on rainy evenings, the sound of crickets singing at night, and especially stories about the stars. Every evening, before bed, he would sit beside his grandmother near the fireplace and ask questions. "Grandma," Oliver asked one soft autumn night, "where do dreams come from?" His grandmother smiled gently. The fire crackled warmly beside them. "Dreams," she whispered, "come from the Moonkeeper." Oliver's ears perked up. "The Moonkeeper?" Grandmother nodded slowly. "Far above the clouds, beyond the silver moonlight, there is a hidden garden in the sky. The Moonkeeper lives there. Every night, she gathers tiny, glowing dreams and sends them softly down to sleeping children." Oliver's eyes grew wide with wonder. "What does she look like?" "No one truly knows," Grandmother said. "Some say she wears a cloak made of stars. Others say she glides across the sky on a cloud of moon dust." Oliver looked out the window at the shining moon. That night, as the wind whispered through the trees, Oliver climbed into bed, thinking about the mysterious Moonkeeper. Soon, his eyes grew heavy. And then, something magical happened. A tiny silver light floated through his window. Oliver blinked sleepily. The light danced gently in the air, like a glowing feather. "Hello," Oliver whispered. The silver light twirled happily. Then, very slowly, it drifted toward the window. Oliver slipped quietly out of bed and followed it. Outside, the whole valley shimmered beneath the moonlight. The grass sparkled with dew, and the night air smelled like pine trees and lavender. The silver light floated ahead, leading Oliver toward the forest path. Normally, Oliver would have been nervous, walking through the woods at night, but tonight felt different, peaceful, warm, almost like the night itself was protecting him. As he wandered deeper into the forest, he noticed something strange. The trees began to glow softly. Blue mushrooms lit the ground like tiny lanterns. Golden moths floated lazily through the air. And somewhere far away, a gentle melody echoed through the woods. Oliver followed the music until he reached a clearing he had never seen before. In the center stood an enormous tree with silver leaves. Its branches stretched high into the sky, glowing softly beneath the moon. At the base of the tree sat a ladder made of moonlight. Oliver stared in amazement. The silver light floated upward, as if inviting him to climb. Oliver hesitated only for a moment. Then he placed one paw on the glowing ladder. It felt soft and warm, like a cloud. Step by step, he climbed higher and higher, above the treetops, above the clouds, above the stars, until finally he reached the sky. Oliver gasped. Before him stretched a magnificent hidden garden floating among the stars. Moonflowers bloomed in glowing colors. Tiny rivers of silver light flowed gently across crystal pathways. Soft clouds drifted lazily between floating lanterns. And in the center of the garden stood someone wearing a shimmering cloak filled with tiny stars. The Moonkeeper. She turned slowly and smiled kindly at Oliver. Her eyes sparkled like the night sky. "Welcome, little dreamer," she said softly. Oliver could barely speak. "You're real?" The Moonkeeper laughed gently, like wind chimes in the breeze. "Of course. Oliver looked around in wonder. "It's beautiful here." "This," she said, "is where dreams are made." She guided Oliver through the glowing garden. Every flower held a different dream. Some flowers glowed with dreams of flying dragons. Others held dreams of underwater kingdoms. Some contained adventures through enchanted forests, and others simply carried peaceful dreams of warm homes and loving families. "Every sleeping child receives a dream," the Moonkeeper explained. "Some need courage, some need joy, and some simply need rest." Oliver watched tiny glowing lights rise from the flowers into the sky. "They become dreams?" "Yes," she smiled. "The stars carry them down to the world below." Oliver sat quietly beside a silver pond, reflecting the moon. For a moment, everything was still, peaceful, gentle. Then Oliver noticed something nearby. A tiny star sat alone beneath a flower, glowing very faintly. Unlike the others, it looked dim and sad. "What's wrong with that little star?" Oliver asked. The Moonkeeper knelt beside it. "This little one has lost its light." "Can stars do that?" She nodded softly. "Sometimes, even stars become tired." Oliver thought carefully. Then he sat beside the tiny star. "When I feel sad," he said gently, "Grandmother tells me stories. They always help." The tiny star flickered slightly. Oliver smiled. "Well then, I'll tell you one." So beneath the glowing moonflowers, Oliver began telling stories. He told the star about sunny mornings in Willowbrook, about dancing leaves in autumn, about warm pies cooling on windowsills, about snowflakes landing softly on sleepy rooftops, and about sitting safely beside the fireplace with family. As Oliver spoke, the little star slowly began glowing brighter, first softly, then warmly, until finally it sparkled brighter than ever before. The Moonkeeper smiled proudly. "You reminded the star of something important." "What?" "That even small lights can shine brightly." The little star floated happily into the air, spinning around Oliver in joyful circles. Oliver laughed, and somehow, deep inside, he felt warmer too. The Moonkeeper walked with Oliver to the edge of the floating garden. Far below, the world slept peacefully beneath the moonlight. "It's almost time for you to go home," she said gently. Oliver suddenly felt sleepy, very sleepy. "Will I remember this?" he asked quietly. The Moonkeeper touched his forehead softly. "Perhaps not all of it." Oliver yawned. "But whenever you look at the stars," she whispered, "you'll remember how magical the night can be." The silver ladder appeared once more. Oliver climbed downward slowly through the clouds, through the stars, through the quiet sky, lower and lower, until finally he felt his soft bed beneath him again. Morning sunlight streamed through the window. Birds chirped outside. Oliver blinked sleepily and sat up. Had it all been a dream? Then he noticed something on his windowsill, a tiny glowing silver feather. Oliver smiled quietly. That evening, as the stars appeared one by one in the sky, Oliver sat beside his grandmother outside the cottage. The night breeze carried the scent of lavender. "Grandma," Oliver whispered. "Yes, dear." "I think the stars get lonely sometimes." Grandmother smiled knowingly. "Perhaps that's why they shine for each other." Oliver looked up at the moon, and far above the clouds, somewhere in the hidden garden of dreams, the Moonkeeper smiled down upon the sleeping world, and one tiny star shone brighter than ever before. The end.